Hello, my dearest friends, and a truly heartfelt welcome to Vita Prime Health. I'm Dr. Eleanor Vance here with you from Stanford, and it warms my heart to connect with you today. There are some topics that, when we approach them with both curiosity and tenderness, truly deepen our understanding of ourselves and each other. Today's conversation is precisely one of those. We're going to explore the remarkable, intricate differences between male and female brains, and how these unique distinctions are shaped by our genes and hormones from the very beginning of our lives, influencing our journey through aging. For many years, perhaps decades, the prevailing view in science was to study the human brain as if it were a universal, undifferentiated organ. And while, of course, the vast majority of our brain's functions and structures are shared, a growing body of rigorous research, much of it happening right here, is revealing a more nuanced, richly detailed picture. We're learning that there are subtle, yet profoundly impactful, biological differences in how male and female brains are built, how they operate, and how they navigate the process of aging. This isn't about hierarchy or superiority. It's about acknowledging and celebrating the diverse ways in which human biology expresses itself. Think of it as recognizing the beautiful variations in a forest. Each tree is different, yet each is essential to the ecosystem. Understanding these unique biological landscapes allows us to cultivate our own brain health and that of our loved ones with greater precision and compassion. The brain's unique blueprint, a deeper look. Let's start with the fundamental architecture. When we observe the human brain, we typically note that, on average, males tend to have a slightly larger overall brain volume. But please, let's immediately put to rest any notion that size equates to intelligence. It simply doesn't. What's far more intriguing and functionally relevant are the differences we see in the proportions of gray and white matter. Gray matter, as you might recall, is primarily composed of neuronal cell bodies. It's where the heavy lifting of information processing occurs. White matter consists of myelinated axons, the long extensions of neurons that form the brain's communication highways, connecting different regions. We observe subtle but consistent differences in how these vital components are distributed and proportioned between male and female brains, suggesting unique efficiencies or processing styles. Beyond structure, consider the brain's energy consumption. Advanced imaging, such as positron emission tomography, PT scans, has shown that females often exhibit higher glucose metabolism in specific brain regions. Glucose, as our brain's preferred fuel, fuels its activity. This higher metabolic rate in certain areas might indicate different energy demands or activity levels, potentially influencing how cognitive tasks are performed or how emotions are regulated. These aren't dramatic divergences, but rather subtle leanings in the brain's incredibly complex operating system, hinting at different yet equally effective ways of interacting with the world. So where do these fascinating differences originate? It's not a simple switch. It's a dynamic, lifelong dance between our inherent genetic code and the powerful, ever-present influence of our hormones, the genetic symphony, the XX and XY master keys. The very first chord of this symphony is struck at conception with our chromosomes. The presence of XX chromosomes in females and XY in males is far more than a determinant of reproductive organs. It initiates a cascade of events that profoundly shapes brain development and function. These chromosomes carry specific genes that influence how brain cells grow, how they connect, and even how they might be pruned over time. They affect the delicate balance of neurotransmitters, the brain's chemical messengers, and the very architecture of our neural networks. For instance, the Y chromosome, present in males, carries a particularly influential gene called SRY, sex-determining region Y. This single gene acts like a master switch. Its presence initiates the development of testes in the embryo, which then begin producing testosterone and other androgens. This early hormonal surge then orchestrates the masculinization of not only the external genitalia, but also the developing brain. It's a powerful, irreversible differentiation that sets the stage for a male pathway of brain development. Conversely, in the absence of the SRY gene, the default pathway leads to the development of ovaries and the female brain structure. This intricate genetic programming determines very fundamental aspects of our neurological identity, establishing biases for how circuits are laid down and how they'll respond to hormones throughout life. It truly is a remarkable testament to how deeply our biological sex is ingrained in our very being. Historical cultural context. For centuries, discussions about male and female brains were often steeped in societal biases and stereotypes, sometimes used to justify inequalities. Early scientific theories, occasionally misinterpreted, observed differences to imply one sex was intellectually superior or emotionally weaker. However, modern neuroscience, equipped with advanced imaging and genetic tools, approaches this topic with far greater humility and precision. Today, the focus is on understanding the biological underpinnings without judgment, recognizing that variation is normal and functional, allowing for more tailored approaches to health and well-being rather than perpetuating harmful stereotypes. The hormonal conductors, estrogen and androgens. Beyond our chromosomes, the ever-present flow of hormones acts as the conductors of our brain's internal orchestra, influencing everything from our mood and cognition to our vulnerability to certain diseases as we age. Let's focus first on estrogen, a hormone primarily associated with females, but whose profound impact on the brain is truly remarkable. Estrogen is a powerful neuroprotective agent. Think of it as a vigilant guardian for your brain cells, helping to shield them from damage. It also plays a crucial role in enhancing synaptic plasticity, which is the brain's incredible ability to adapt, learn, and form new connections throughout life. When estrogen levels are optimal, it helps your brain stay nimble and efficient, supporting memory, learning, and cognitive flexibility. Estrogen also exquisitely modulates vital neurotransmitter systems in the brain. These chemical messengers are the language of our brain cells. For example, estrogen influences serotonin, which is deeply involved in mood regulation, sleep, and appetite. It impacts dopamine, critical for reward, motivation, and executive functions. And it interacts with acetylcholine, fundamental for memory and learning. This means that the natural fluctuations of estrogen throughout a woman's life, during the menstrual cycle, pregnancy, and most significantly during perimenopause and menopause, have direct and observable effects on mood, cognitive function, and even risk for neurological conditions. Many women experience shifts in concentration, memory, or emotional well-being during these transitions. And here's a critical point for those of us navigating the later stages of life. The dramatic decline in estrogen after menopause is increasingly recognized as a significant factor in the increased risk for conditions like Alzheimer's disease and mood disorders in women. While not a direct cause, the loss of estrogen's neuroprotective and modulatory benefits creates a period of vulnerability that researchers are actively studying. This understanding underscores the immense importance of female-specific hormonal health in maintaining brain vitality as we age. Now, let's turn to androgens, predominantly testosterone, the primary male sex hormone, although women also produce it in smaller amounts. Testosterone is deeply involved in male brain development and function, influencing areas related to spatial abilities, aggression in a nuanced way, and risk for certain neurological conditions. Just as estrogen levels shift in women, testosterone levels in men also gradually decline with age, a process sometimes called andropause. This decline can similarly influence mood, energy levels, focus, and overall cognitive vigor. Additional clinical studies, modern neuroimaging studies using techniques like fMRI, functional magnetic resonance imaging, and PET, positron emission tomography scans, are invaluable here. These studies allow researchers to observe brain activity, connectivity, and metabolism in real time as individuals perform cognitive tasks or experience emotional states. Longitudinal studies, following cohorts of men and women over decades, track how hormonal changes correlate with shifts in cognitive abilities and disease risk. For instance, research specifically examines changes in brain regions rich in estrogen receptors during the menopausal transition and how these changes might precede or accompany cognitive alterations. Similarly, studies in men investigate how maintaining healthy testosterone levels might correlate with better cognitive outcomes in later life. These clinical investigations provide the empirical foundation for our understanding. Maria, 68, from the Bay Area. Maria, a vibrant grandmother, found herself increasingly frustrated with what she called senior moments, forgetting words mid-sentence, misplacing keys, and feeling a pervasive mental fog. It was like my brain was running through treacle, she described. When we discussed how declining estrogen levels, especially post-menopause, can affect brain areas crucial for verbal fluency and memory, she had an aha moment. It wasn't just getting old, it was a specific biological shift. This understanding empowered her to discuss targeted strategies with her doctor, including exploring hormonal support and engaging in language-rich activities, which helped her feel more in control and less alone in her experience. The brain's wiring and cognitive strengths. Different paths to understanding. These deep-seated genetic and hormonal influences manifest in fascinating differences in how our brains are wired, leading to distinct yet complementary cognitive strengths. Research suggests that females often exhibit higher connectivity between the two hemispheres of the brain, particularly through the corpus callosum, that thick bundle of nerve fibers acting as a superhighway between the left, often analytical, and right, often intuitive creative sides. This robust interhemispheric communication is hypothesized to facilitate strengths in areas like intuition, social cognition, and the ability to synthesize diverse information seamlessly. It allows for a more global processing style, making it easier to connect emotional cues with logical thought or to quickly switch between different tasks. Conversely, males may often show more prominent within-hemisphere connectivity. Imagine a highly efficient, super-fast local network within a specific brain region. This can potentially aid focused, specialized action and strong spatial processing. This architecture might support strengths in tasks requiring intense focus on a single domain, or superior abilities in mentally manipulating objects in space, crucial for things like navigation, engineering, or certain mathematical challenges. Again, neither wiring style is better. They simply represent different optimizations for navigating the world, leading to distinct cognitive profiles. These structural and functional differences translate into observable cognitive and behavioral patterns. For females, tend to excel in areas like verbal fluency, the ease and speed of generating words, memory for faces and objects, recalling specific details of people and things, and fine motor skills, precision in hand movements. Their strengths also often lie in social cognition and empathy, indicating a natural inclination towards understanding and responding to others' emotions and intentions. However, these same biological underpinnings can contribute to a higher risk for depression, anxiety disorders, and significantly, Alzheimer's disease, especially post-menopause, as well as certain autoimmune conditions that can impact the brain. For males, tend to excel in spatial reasoning, the ability to understand and manipulate objects in space, mathematical abilities, and certain aspects of aggression, influenced by androgen levels and specific neural circuits. On the other hand, males tend to have a higher risk for conditions such as autism spectrum disorder, ADHD, Parkinson's disease, and certain types of addiction. It's crucial to remember that these are general trends derived from large populations. Every single individual brain is a unique tapestry woven from genes, hormones, life experiences, environment, and personal choices. We are talking about predispositions and typical patterns, not rigid rules that apply to every single person. Your personal journey will always be unique. John, 72, from Texas. John, a retired engineer, always prided himself on his keen sense of direction and ability to visualize complex machinery. "I could build anything in my head before I ever laid a hand on it," he'd say. As he aged, he noticed his once razor-sharp focus occasionally wavering, and he found new challenges in multitasking. When we discussed how male brains often optimize for within-hemisphere connectivity and focused action, it clicked for him. He realized his shifts weren't a global decline, but possibly a specific change in areas that were once his greatest strengths. This insight motivated him to engage in activities like learning to code and tackling intricate logical puzzles, which specifically stimulated those areas, giving him a renewed sense of cognitive engagement, aging, vulnerability, and the promise of personalized care. Understanding these inherent sex differences becomes even more profoundly important as we navigate the second half of life, especially concerning our vulnerability to and the progression of neurodegenerative diseases. We've touched upon it, but it bears repeating. The significant hormonal shifts associated with menopause have a direct and measurable impact on Alzheimer's disease risk in women. This isn't merely a statistical observation. It's an active area of research exploring estrogen's direct protective role on brain cells and how its decline can create a window of increased vulnerability. For men, the more gradual decline of androgens can contribute to different patterns of cognitive change or influence their risk for conditions like Parkinson's disease or certain mood disturbances. Common myth debunked. A pervasive myth is that brain decline is just an inevitable, uniform part of aging. This is simply not true. While some cognitive changes are a normal part of the aging process, the patterns of these changes and the risk factors for specific neurodegenerative diseases are far from universal. They are profoundly influenced by biological sex. Ignoring these differences can lead to missed opportunities for early diagnosis, targeted prevention, and personalized therapeutic strategies. We need to move beyond the generalized concept of the aging brain to embrace the reality of the male aging brain and the female aging brain, each with its distinct characteristics, strengths, and vulnerabilities. This is precisely why personalized healthcare is not just a trending phrase. It's the future of medicine. Understanding these fundamental brain differences is absolutely crucial for developing effective strategies. It means designing drug trials that account for sex differences, ensuring that clinical research is representative of both men and women, and crafting therapeutic interventions that are tailored to individual biological needs. A medication or therapy that works optimally for a man's brain might not be the most effective or even safe for a woman's, and vice versa. It's about moving beyond a one-size-fits-all approach to medicine and truly embracing precision health, acknowledging and respecting our unique biological makeups. Sarah and Tom, both 65, from California. Sarah and Tom, a delightful couple who have been together for decades, recently embarked on their retirement. Sarah, a former teacher, noticed she was becoming increasingly forgetful about appointments and struggling with names, which was particularly distressing given her verbal strengths. Tom, a retired engineer, felt his spatial problem-solving was as sharp as ever, but he was struggling with a persistent low mood and a general lack of motivation he couldn't shake. When we discussed how estrogen decline can specifically impact verbal memory in women, while declining testosterone can affect mood and drive in men, they recognized their own experiences. This understanding led them to explore different, personalized strategies with their healthcare providers. Sarah focused on memory exercises and discussing hormonal options, while Tom focused on lifestyle changes to support testosterone levels and mood. Their journey together became a powerful illustration of how personalized understanding fosters tailored solutions. Lifestyle integrations and daily practices, nurturing your unique brain. So with this deeper understanding of our unique brain blueprints, what actionable steps can we take in our daily lives to support our cognitive health as we age? The beauty is that while there are tailored considerations, many foundational principles apply universally, yet their expression might be unique to your biological sex. For women, embracing estrogen's legacy and beyond, proactive hormonal health conversations. Engage in open, honest discussions with your healthcare provider about your hormonal health, especially as you navigate perimenopause and menopause. Discuss the latest evidence on hormonal support like hormone therapy, not just for symptom relief, but for its potential long-term cognitive and bone health benefits, always weighing individual risks and benefits with a trusted professional. Targeted cognitive engagement. Engage in activities that specifically challenge and strengthen verbal fluency, memory for details, and social cognition. This could involve learning a new language, joining a book club, writing a memoir, taking on complex crossword puzzles, or engaging in rich, meaningful conversations with friends and family. Neuroprotective diet with a focus on phytoestrogens. Emphasize a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and healthy fats. Consider incorporating foods naturally rich in phytoestrogens, such as flax seeds, legumes, and certain whole grains. These plant compounds can weakly mimic estrogen in the body and may offer some protective benefits. Prioritize emotional well-being. Given the higher predisposition to mood disorders, robust strategies for stress management, emotional regulation, and fostering social connections are paramount. Mindfulness, meditation, spending time in nature, and nurturing strong friendships are excellent tools. For men, supporting androgen balance and focus strengths, maintain testosterone health. Holistically, support healthy testosterone levels through a balanced, nutrient-dense diet, consistent strength training, adequate sleep, and effective stress management. If you have concerns about symptoms related to low testosterone, consult your doctor for a thorough evaluation. Challenge spatial and logical skills. Actively seek out activities that stimulate spatial reasoning, logical problem solving, and focused attention. This might include tackling intricate jigsaw puzzles, engaging in strategic board games, learning to play a musical instrument, delving into coding, or pursuing hobbies that require precision and planning. Vigilant cardiovascular health. Heart health is directly intertwined with brain health. For men who statistically face higher risks for certain cardiovascular conditions earlier in life, proactive management of blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar is crucial for maintaining optimal blood flow to the brain and supporting cognitive function. Embrace social connection. While societal norms sometimes discourage overt expressions of social needs in men, strong social ties are incredibly protective against cognitive decline and can significantly boost mood. Actively cultivating deep, meaningful friendships and community involvement is a powerful brain health strategy. Universal brain health strategies, beneficial for all brains. Regardless of our biological sex, many core practices are universally beneficial for a vibrant, resilient brain. Lifelong learning. Keep your brain challenged and curious. Learn a new skill, explore a new subject, take an online course. The brain thrives on novelty and continues to form new neural connections throughout life. Regular physical activity, consistent exercise, whether it's walking, swimming, dancing, or strength training, dramatically improves blood flow to the brain, reduces inflammation, and stimulates neurogenesis, the growth of new brain cells. Aim for a mix of aerobic and strength exercises. Nutrient-dense, whole foods diet. A diet rich in whole foods, emphasizing abundant fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats, like those found in avocados, nuts, seeds, and olive oil, provides the essential building blocks and protective compounds for optimal brain function. The Mediterranean diet consistently ranks high for brain health. Prioritize restorative sleep. Quality sleep is not a luxury, it's a fundamental pillar of brain health. During sleep, your brain consolidates memories, clears out metabolic waste products, and repairs itself. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of consistent, high-quality sleep each night. Effective stress management. Chronic stress can be highly damaging to brain cells and networks. Incorporate daily practices that help manage stress, such as mindfulness meditation, deep breathing exercises, spending time in nature, or engaging in hobbies that bring you joy and calm. Maintain social engagement. Combat isolation by actively nurturing meaningful relationships and participating in your community. Social interaction is a powerful cognitive stimulant and mood booster, and it fosters a sense of purpose and belonging. These daily practices, when applied consistently and with an understanding of your unique biological predispositions, are not just about preventing decline. They are about actively cultivating a brain that continues to thrive, adapt, and bring joy and meaning to your life for many years to come. Question: if male and female brains are different, does that mean one sex is inherently smarter or more capable than the other? Absolutely not. The scientific consensus is clear. These observed average differences in brain structure and function do not equate to differences in overall intelligence or capability. Instead, they point to variations in cognitive strengths and processing styles. For example, one brain might excel in verbal tasks while another excels in spatial reasoning. Both are equally valuable and contribute to a diverse range of talents and abilities across the human population. The human brain, regardless of biological sex, is incredibly adaptable and capable of remarkable feats. Question: how much of these brain differences are due to biology, nature, versus upbringing and societal roles, nurture? This is a classic nature versus nurture question, and the answer, as often is the case, is both. The foundational differences in brain development, influenced by SRY gene and early hormonal exposure, are undeniably biological, nature. These create initial predispositions. However, our brains are remarkably plastic, meaning they are constantly shaped by our experiences, learning, and the environment, nurture. Societal roles, educational opportunities, and cultural expectations can all influence how these biological predispositions are expressed and developed. It's a continuous, dynamic interaction throughout life. Question: can lifestyle changes reverse any of the age-related or sex-specific brain changes discussed? While you cannot reverse your chromosomal makeup or fully restore premenopausal hormone levels naturally, lifestyle changes can significantly modulate and mitigate the impact of age-related and sex-specific brain changes. For instance, a neuroprotective diet and regular exercise can enhance neuroplasticity and reduce inflammation, helping to protect brain cells even in the face of hormonal shifts. Cognitive stimulation can build cognitive reserve. While we can't rewind the clock, we can certainly optimize our brain's health and resilience, working with our unique biology to achieve our best possible cognitive health. Question: are there specific brain regions that are consistently larger or more active in males or females? Yes, generally there are some patterns observed. For instance, some research suggests that certain areas involved in language processing and social cognition might be relatively more developed or active in females, while areas related to spatial navigation and risk-taking might show differences in males. The hypothalamus, a region critical for fundamental behaviors like reproduction and aggression, also shows clear sex differences, and these are conserved even between mice and humans. These are average differences, and there's always significant individual variability. Question: does hormone replacement therapy, HRT for women, or testosterone replacement therapy, TRT for men, improve cognitive function as they age? This is a complex area, and the research is still evolving, but it's a vital discussion to have with your doctor. For women, Studies suggest that initiating HRT around the time of menopause, particularly when started earlier in perimenopause, may have neuroprotective effects and potentially reduce the risk of cognitive decline in Alzheimer's disease. For men, TRT can alleviate symptoms of low testosterone, including improvements in mood and energy, which can indirectly benefit cognition. However, these therapies are not without risks, and their suitability depends entirely on individual health profiles, symptoms, and comprehensive medical evaluation. They are not a universal panacea for cognitive aging. Question: what are some red flags that a subtle brain difference might be becoming a more significant issue as someone ages? Any persistent and noticeable change from a person's usual cognitive function warrants attention. For women, this might include a marked increase in brain fog, severe difficulty with word recall, persistent short-term memory problems that interfere with daily life, or unexplained shifts in mood or anxiety levels. For men, it could involve a significant decline in spatial reasoning, difficulty with problem solving, a profound loss of motivation, or sustained feelings of apathy. If you or a loved one experience these, it's essential to consult a healthcare professional for a thorough evaluation to rule out underlying conditions and explore potential interventions. Question: how does the brain's wiring influence how men and women typically communicate or solve problems? The differences in brain connectivity, with female brains often showing more interhemispheric integration and male brains more within hemisphere specialization, can certainly influence communication and problem-solving styles. Women might, on average, gravitate towards more collaborative, emotionally nuanced discussions, integrating feelings with facts. Men might, on average, lean towards more direct, logical, and solution-focused approaches, perhaps favoring a step-by-step analysis. These are broad tendencies, and individuals can, and often do, learn to adapt and adopt diverse communication and problem-solving strategies, transcending typical patterns. Question: given these differences, should men and women adopt entirely different strategies for maintaining brain health? Not entirely different, but certainly tailored and personalized strategies. As we discussed, there are universal pillars of brain health that benefit everyone: a healthy diet, regular exercise, quality sleep, stress management, and social engagement. However, understanding the unique predispositions related to biological sex allows us to emphasize certain aspects or focus on specific vulnerabilities. For example, women might pay extra attention to hormonal support and activities that bolster verbal memory, while men might prioritize cardiovascular health and cognitive challenges that engage spatial reasoning. It's about optimizing general strategies with a keen eye on personal biology. My dear friends, as we draw our conversation to a close, I truly hope that our time together has illuminated the fascinating world within our skulls, offering a renewed sense of wonder and perhaps a deeper connection to your own incredible brain. Understanding these profound yet often subtle biological differences between male and female brains is not just an academic exercise. It's a powerful path toward truly personalized health, allowing us to approach aging not with trepidation, but with informed curiosity and a gentle hand, nurturing our unique minds to thrive for years to come. If today's discussion resonated with you, if it offered a moment of clarity or a spark of inspiration, please consider becoming a vital part of our growing community here at Vita Prime Health. I warmly invite you to subscribe to our channel right now. It's a simple click, but it ensures you'll receive all of our future episodes, each crafted with care to bring you evidence-based insights and heartfelt support for living your most vibrant life. And if you know someone, a family member, a dear friend, or perhaps a colleague, who might also benefit from these conversations, I would be so grateful if you would share this episode with them. Your sharing helps us reach more beautiful minds, fostering a community dedicated to well-being at every age. Thank you always for your precious time, your trust, and your unwavering commitment to your own health journey. Until we meet again, remember to cherish and nurture your magnificent brain.